Welcome back to the Inner Journeys, Outer Adventures podcast. I'm your host, Corey Jacobson. And today, what we're going to talk about is something that is very important, which is trust the process. The process is a workout plan, a nutrition plan, a diet that you're trying to go on. You're trying to gain muscle, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to be in better running shape, you're trying to be in better swimming shape, you're trying to go through a triathlon. Any goal, we can stick to health and fitness for now, but that's in anything in life. There is a process that you need to trust and you need to do. It goes along with consistency. So how often do you stick to the plan that you set out with? Whether a coach gave you it or you created it yourself. How often do you stick with it? For a long period of time, more than 2 to 4 weeks. If you're sticking to that process for a very long time, you're going to reap the results. Now, if you flip-flop from plan to plan, from gym to gym, from coach to coach, from diet to diet, every 2 weeks, every month, even 2 months, you're not going to get results. How can you expect to get results when you're changing the thing every 2 to 4 weeks, every 2 months, or you go off the plan every 2 weeks or every month? You're not sticking to it long enough. You're not trusting the process. Results come from consistency compounded over months and years. If you're not consistently sticking to the process, the plan that you set out with, whether it's from a coach or yourself, you're not going to get results. At least the results that you wanted to get, that you set out to get. If you can stick to the same plan for more than 2 weeks, but definitely a lot longer than that, 3 months, 6 months, a year would be better, then you can see the results. If you can't do that, maybe you need to find a better plan that's suited better for you and your goals in what you are like individually, rather than a cookie cutter plan that's set out to thousands and millions of people. Maybe you need to look for something that's better suited to you. Or the plan's fine and you just need to push past the discomfort. Everybody's excited at the very beginning. Take New Year's right now. New Year's Day just happened a couple weeks ago. A lot of people are entering the gym, entering diets. Guess what? By February, midway through February, 90% of people fall off. Why is that? You're excited in the beginning. Over time, that excitement falls off. And then it gets boring. And then it gets hard to do the boring thing over and over and over again. Whether you're doing the same lifts, you're doing the same runs, you're eating the same foods, it gets boring. And you don't like the boredom. You can't find some sort of pleasure in the monotony. So take lifting. I've been lifting most of my life. I've been doing a lot of the same lifts most of my life. The way that I find pleasure and joy out of it and get something from it to where I can look forward to it is I look for that small challenge within that same lift. If I'm doing a back squat week after week after week, I'm doing it for months on end, I need to find something that I can challenge myself with, that I can push for, that I can look to the next time. If I did a 200-pound back squat 1 week for 5 reps, I either need to do 5 more pounds the next week, maybe do a couple more reps at that same weight, or I need to move the weight better. There's so many things that I can challenge myself and look forward to doing better the next time. Even though I'm doing the same thing over and over again, I need to find a way to make it enjoyable for myself. I need to find a challenge within it. I need to look for improvement within myself, how I'm moving it, what I'm doing with the same thing. That's how you can find some enjoyment out of it. It's the same thing over and over again. Sure, it's going to get boring, but look for something that's going to make you excited to do it. Yes, doing the same thing over and over and over again is monotonous. It can get very boring, but find the challenge within it, because that's where the excitement comes. That's where the growth comes. You don't have to change a back squat to a front squat to a goblet squat to an air squat week after week. You're not going to get progress from that. Even if you do it 4 weeks in a row, you do it for a month straight, keep doing it because you're going to get better at it. If you change it up slightly, whether you do 2 more reps or 2 less reps or 4 more sets, whatever, change that slightly and it'll get better a little bit. But again, then it'll get boring again. Find the challenge within the day, within the lift. Whatever you're doing, you need to find something that you can improve on. Because when you see progress, that's when you get excited again. Progress creates excitement. So you need to make sure while you're doing the process, you're finding something to challenge yourself with, something that can be enjoyable for yourself. I've heard this way too often. I got bored of the same workouts. I was looking for a lot more variety. I didn't want to do the same thing over and over again. I didn't want to eat the same foods. I didn't want to run the same plan. The boredom is going to be there in everything. But find a way to make it exciting. Find a way to challenge yourself. Find a way to make progress week after week. That's where you're going to get excited, not the workout in itself. Find a way to get excited about it. Because guess what? Results require you to work hard. Results require you to work when you have zero motivation. Results require you to do something even when you feel like shit. Even when you're tired and you're lacking sleep, you still need to do the thing, even though you don't want to do it. The boring work is what gets best results. So if you're not doing the boring work, then you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. And if you've been trying different things over and over and over again for years and you have not seen any progress, that's why. Because you are not doing the boring work. You are running from it, even though that's what's actually going to help you the most. The simplest plan can get you the best results. It doesn't require muscle confusion or I'm doing 30 reps this time, 20 reps this time. I'm doing a fast run today, fast run tomorrow. I'm going to bike the next week. I'm going to swim the next week. Unless you're training for a triathlon, and even then, you still need to run every week, bike every week, and swim every week. You can't constantly change things because the body will not adapt. The body adapts to the same stimulus over weeks and months. The same stimulus is a back squat for weeks or months. The same stimulus is a run that progressively gets harder for weeks and months. The same stimulus is a diet that is lower in calories than what you burn and you lose weight. It's going to get hard. Expect that. Expect it to get boring and still do the work. Once you can get past the monotony, once you can get past the boredom, if you can find a challenge in the same thing week after week and see progress, that is where you're going to find something more excitement. That's where it's going to get exciting again because you made progress. You became better. That is exciting. It doesn't matter if it's the same thing over and over again. The wins is what makes it exciting. So find the small things that you can do. Find the small things that you will get better on, and you will find that excitement. You will get excited for yourself. Progress, no matter how small it is exciting. So the reason most good programs, whether it's running, lifting, biking, swimming, weight loss, the most good programs are boring is because that's human physiology. You have to slowly increase or decrease something over time, and it has to be the same stimulus for a long enough period of time for your body to adapt. You can slowly increase that stimulus. You can slowly decrease it, whether it's a heavier lift, a faster run, a longer run, whether it's you're slowly decreasing calories. You have 100 less calories one week, then another. After a couple weeks, you take another 100 calories away, or you add in some more movement, more walking, so that way you're in a bigger deficit and losing more weight. Therefore, that is human physiology. You can't get around it. We've been this way for millions of years. That's how all adaptation occurs. So you need to make sure that you're trusting the process. If a coach gave you the plan, he needs to explain why, or she needs to explain why you're doing the plan that you're on. But you also need to trust that they know what they're doing and they know that this is how you change and get results. Trust the process. Shit is going to suck. It's not always going to be fun. It's not always going to be exactly what you thought it was going to be. But you still need to do it and trust that it is going to work and achieve the results that you're looking for. Otherwise, why are you doing any plan? If you're not going to trust the plan, what's the point of doing it? If you don't think that plan is going to get you results, then first, look for different plans. Ask somebody that has knowledge in what you want to achieve, what you should do. And if they have a good understanding of who you are, they will pick the right plan for you and help you implement it. But trust it. If you can't trust the plan that you're on, there's no point in doing it. If you're going to sabotage it or yourself, then you need to understand more about yourself. You need to be more aware of why you're doing what you're doing. Does the goal even matter to you? If it doesn't matter to you, then you're not going to trust the process. Then when it gets hard, you're going to shy away and you're going to go back to what you're comfortable doing, your old habits. So make sure that you're picking the right plan. You know why you're picking that plan. And then trust that that plan is going to get you the results. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing on the plan, it will get you results. It's going to get boring. It's going to suck. But make sure you stick with it. For myself, going through a running training plan for the first time ever, training for an ultra marathon last year, I didn't know what to expect. And of course it got boring. Of course I didn't want to do it some days because I knew the amount of work that was going to go in, how tired I was going to be at the end of it, and my lack of motivation after that to do the things I wanted to do was not going to be there. I stuck with it. In the beginning, I did not feel like I was getting faster. I didn't feel like I was able to run that much farther and that much easier. But towards the end, and I was on a 12-week program, towards the end, so weeks 10, 11, and 12, I felt lighter on my feet. I was faster than I've ever been before running long distance. I felt like I could go for days. I didn't feel like I had a limit with running at that point. And I trusted the process. Even though it sucked at times, even though it got pretty monotonous and boring, with running, you're just running for hours. Of course, that's going to get boring. So you have to find ways to enjoy it. I was listening to podcasts. I was thinking a lot. Or if I was with a partner, talking the entire time with them. And it's helping me grow as a person, whether it's listening to some personal development podcast, thinking about things that are going on in my life, or just talking with a friend that I'm running with. Those are ways that I could find some enjoyment in the process of it. And it paid off big time because I would not have completed my Spartan race if I didn't trust that process and do the things that I was doing. If I didn't make that small incremental progress over 12 weeks, I wouldn't have finished that race. I was close to not finishing it anyway. I definitely wouldn't have finished it if I didn't trust the process. So thanks for listening. This is the Inner Journeys, Outer Adventures podcast. We'll see you next time.